Yo. Should I move the light? Don't know. There's just one little fly that's flying around. It's annoying. All right, what's going on, everybody? This is the last live. I'll tell you what I wanted to do, but you're gonna see what you end up getting. Make sure this mic is working. Is it working? Okay. So I was gonna do like a live concert, and I was gonna have like dancers and have some special guests. But you get me on the couch. Sorry. Man, that fly is gonna bother me. That'll be the special guest. But yeah, so it's the end of the summer. I saw some kids going to school today. If I was in Japan, I probably would have started my the new year. Well, Japan starts in April, so it would have been like returning from summer break. But yeah, just came back from Zumba or the gym. Gym is always fun. Things ain't going according to the plan. Yeah, it was. There's that fly, man. It's gonna distract me. Yeah. I don't think my internet would allow me to do anything special. Like it'd be all super slow. And I can't be making so much noise. My dad's sleeping upstairs. But these are excuses. Maybe I could have did like a whisper concert. Yo, my name is Ryman on the mic. Right there. All right, we're going to kill this. See, I got my bug spray right here for this one fly. Man. Actually, you know the origin of this fly? Not that that matters, but my pops be leaving like random food. No, not even that. We don't believe in putting garbage out every week. So it's just like that. Sanders, what's going on? What's going on? But yeah, man. Yeah, finale. So the gym was cool. I was in the doing my Zumba thing, and I turned around and I saw my friend, and he was standing there waving to me. And did you test your internet speeds? I didn't test it, but last time when I tried to you remember when I tried to post the video, it like froze. It was all choppy and shit. So I imagine if I was trying to do all types of stuff, cause I can't. Well, can't say can, but I already did. But once I start doing the show or whatever, I can't really keep track of if it sounds good. I'd have to do a whole bunch of tests throughout the week. Blah blah blah, and more some blah blah blahs. But yeah. Um. But yeah, maybe at some point in the next season. So basically, what I mean by season, the summer is over, and now we're going to the fall, and it's a new season, as in like a TV show. So I'll start working 2 jobs. I'll be getting some income. I got some more big bads. You know how the seasons always have like big enemies that they try to. So I got some new ones coming up in the next season, like my car, or the car I drive. My cousin, he fixed it so the light would go off, but now the light's back on, the engine light. So eventually that's gonna stop working. At that point, I'm gonna have to start walking. That man, oh man, I cannot focus on this fly. I'm gonna spray the shit out of that fly. It's kind of overkill, but I just don't like seeing them flying around while I'm doing my thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you guys know Dilla, J Dilla. He made some tracks and he's like a beat making god. And weirdly enough, I didn't know anything about him. I mean, his name always came up, but I guess it fell under, if everyone said I have to listen to him, then I probably was like, nope, I'm not gonna listen to him, cause that's how I be. But every time in every interview and every time you meet another beat maker, they'd be like, yeah, J Dilla this and J Dilla that, J Dilla this and J Dilla that. Now there's some songs I like. The one he did for, I was just listening to his Motown tape. Yeah, like I've never. I mean, the song he did for, like, any song he did that was on the radio at that time, I probably heard it. I like the one with Tupac. Changes? It's not changes. There are times when you need some love and you done it. I believe that was a Dilla track. I like that track. But when I did go out there and start to research and listen to him, I think I was listening to Donuts, his last album. It didn't really move me, it wasn't like. So then time went on, and then I found a book about him, like a little mini autobiography about him. And I read the book, and I was just blown away, because what I like about him is he always went against the grain. If they're like, you have to do it this way, this man would do the opposite, which fits with what I do, And yeah. And a lot of his stuff, like just listening to it, kind of like when I freestyle, off the top, or when I freestyle, it doesn't really, it's not that impressive. I'm not saying deep shit. But then if you like break it down, then it's like, wow, that guy's really doing something. So it's kind of like that. If you were breaking down his techniques and his whatever at the time and whatever. So I got a new book. It's called Dilla Time. Well, I got the audio book because now that I won't be doing my walking talks, I'm going to do some walking and listening to the audio book. And I listen to it at the gym. And I think when I'm driving, I'm going to listen to it too. And it's interesting that you said Motown, because right now, what's cool about the book Dilla Time, it's kind of like it started before it started before him. So they talked about how Barry Gordon was naming, how the name came about, which I didn't know this shit. But it was like, it was kind of like there was a blue town and a this town and a that town, and he just took Motor City Town, Motown. But yeah, it's really interesting. So like the whole chapter is more just about the backdrop, and then it'll extend after he died. I mean, that part in the other book I read about him dying, because he didn't, while he was alive, people weren't like loving him. I mean, around his little circles. After he died, they're like, wow. But it be like that sometimes. But yeah, yo, I think I need to check it out. Yo, can I? Yeah, it came out like a month ago. I mean, the audio book is 13 hours. So I think the book is pretty thick. I've seen a lot of beat makers with the book. I don't even think they read it. They just have the book conveniently placed to the background or whatever they're doing. But hey, whatever. I mean, they probably know more about J Dilla. Yo, did you know that? Well, his name is James, but Q-Tip, because this guy, he's just going through all the people who was in his life. He said his real name. I've never heard his real name, and I kind of forgot his real name, because it's Q-Tip. you know. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to just working my way through it, and probably I gotta go and finish the what book? So I was working my way backwards. I started with, and I'm so bad with names. Um, we'll say Miles Davis. Are you ever going back to Japan? There's two ways I can answer that question, depending if, I mean, well, it depends who's asking, but basically, as long I'm here, the reason I'm in America and the reason I'm sitting on this couch is because I am taking care of my father. For me to go to Japan would mean that my father no longer needs my assistance, which would mean he's dead. So the short answer is, when my father dies, I'll go back to Japan. But I don't anticipate that, nor do I want that. You see, it's a question like that. But and then things could happen between now and then. I might fall in love with some woman I meet at Zumba. Today there was a whole bunch of new people, and this one person behind me, she turned around and I was just like, "Hey," and she's like, "Hey," and I was like, "What's up?" I didn't say what's up. I just said, "Hey," and then she like hit me on the arm. I don't know why she hit me, but she hit me. She said, "Good job," or something like that. Because this Zumba teacher has us turning around all the time, and the steps are all awkward, and we just, yeah. So it's possible that I find someone here and we fall in love, and then it's just like we have a little family, and it's not. I, it'd be interesting. Hey, I'm ready to go to Japan. You're like, well, I live here, and that. So that could happen, or I can. So I got a job at a food store stocking the shelves. Maybe I work my way up to be a regional manager or something. And then it's like I can't just leave that. But yeah. But or another way to answer it, if there was nothing here holding me, I would be doing this in Japan. I would have already left already. Be like, pew. I mean, when I called yesterday, because I have to call this my slow company. No look fine and um, I don't know. I never. I mean, within YouTube, you can see how long somebody was watching you. But even if somebody was watching you, it doesn't matter. But long story short, I loved, and I've been loved, and life goes on like that. Yeah. Um, Lots of interesting stories. But I guess the thing is, and I can't speak for other people because that's not my thing. But I don't believe in settling, and if it's not working out, it's not working out. Again, I can't speak for other people. Or even in America, everywhere, you see couples married or not married, and they're not very happy together. They stay together because of the kid, or they stay together because it's easy, and da-da-da. That can't happen with me. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. How is dating life in Japan? Man, these. Well, it is a live stream, and it is. So I'll answer all these questions because it is the last one. But in general, I don't like answering these questions because it's really specific to me or you or them, you know. But dating was like dating in America, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's that simple. So let me start in America. When I was in high school, I turned around one day and I said, "Hey," like we were in a class the whole time, and I only knew her, I mean, it's a class, but you pass papers to the person behind you. So I passed the papers behind me all the time. And one day I just turned around and said, "Hey, why don't we go out sometime?" And she said, "Okay." And then 3 years later, we were having arguments about stupid shit. But it's like that. I did the same thing in Japan. Hey, you want to be in a music video? How was being a whack MC in Japan? It was great being a whack MC in Japan. Oh man. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like that. You just if you could do it here, you could do it there, and vice versa. Now, language and all that stuff plays into it. But yeah, it's gonna be one. But yeah, uh, I'm thinking America worse. I know I cut the. Well, I can't. Man, I got glasses when I came back home. Went to the eye doctor. I don't need it, but I can't read the text from where I'm sitting because it's all like, let me get out of there. I'm thinking America worse. I know I cut that out. Only date overseas. I mean, difference between. Wow, they're just popping. All right, let me go in order. I'm thinking America's worse. I know, cut that out. I mean, America is a big country, so statistically, there's a lot of people out there. You just got to figure it out. Like, me going to Zumba, I mean, it's something I enjoyed, all the people there enjoy, so we probably have similar points or whatever. Now, some of them may be married, some may be grandma, some may be toxic, but statistically, one of them or two of them. But it was like that in Japan. I met most of my girlfriends at events that I was performing at or they were at watching other people perform. Yeah. Let me see here. Coming down. Difference between live audience in Japan and in the U.S. Japan is so you know how in America, actually just recently they were throwing. Who are they doing it to? They were throwing phones or something at some rapper. I forget who it was. That was it's not like it could happen on the military bases, but in a Japan with only Japanese people, I've never heard of that happening. I'm sure there's a spot where it could happen, but in general, you don't even have to. And the guy, so it's easy to be a whack MC overseas or in Japan because it doesn't matter what you really do on stage. They're still going to clap and say, if your stage presence is great, then you could run around thinking you're like the best. But when you do come across other MCs or artists, they will check you. They'll either just be like, they know what it is. Okay, yeah. I performed on bass and I had that effect. I was coming off a high from performing in Shibuya. And then I went to the bass and the whole time they're just like arms crossed, just looking at me. The girls were all like, yeah, but the guys are just like. But then another time I performed on bass or close to bass. There was this big dude. I told this story because it's just crazy. There was this big dude looking like I don't know, there's some big dude, right? And Jay-Z told a story like this just recently. So this big dude, the whole time, he's like just mean mugging us because it was Mommy Sue and I. We're on stage, whatever. We come down and we're walking and he's like there and then he's just like mean mugging. Then when we get close enough, a big smile pops on his face. He's just like, yo, man, you guys are so cool. It's just like, yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Let's see here. How was being the GOAT MC in Japan? I never thought of myself as a GOAT or the greatest because as it happens, the first half of, let's say the first 5 years of me being in Japan, I was finding how to do what I do because I wasn't rhyming gaijin yet. I didn't have my logo and I didn't know people watched people. Like I always say this, I always thought I had to be on some, Well, I always use Will Smith, but he's not the guy to emulate nowadays. But at that point, I was saying I got to be Will Smith status for anybody to want to watch or listen or engage with my content. So every time I would post a video and people just be like, "Hey man," I used to find it strange. It's just, I don't know you, you don't know me. So that was like the first 4 years of this, right? Because if I would have known, like literally, if you know, you know. But my first girlfriend before YouTube, she was crazy, and if we would have, then the second girlfriend, but so I didn't know all about that. But I was always making music. Then I'm performing in little clubs or whatever, and YouTube wasn't like anything cool. So it'd be like, yeah, I make music on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, whatever. So it didn't get me any traction in a venue or whatever. And that would go on. And my videos, music related, they didn't really do much. So the videos online weren't doing much, and I was performing at these spots where, the big clubs I couldn't get into. And then I discovered there's a whole community of J vloggers, which, I always been like, I'm not a J vlogger. I just live here. And again, this little fly man, again, I didn't feel like I was really, it's all up in my, you can't see it, but it's there, man. So then it's just like, okay, I don't really fit the norm of what all these other J vloggers are doing. I'm just trying to do music. And then it's just kind of like, now at this point, I have a little traction, but it's kind of like, oh, you're the guy who talks about getting a job in Japan or dating. And then I started to blend the music together, blend music and kind of combine them, intros and outros. But again, I still wasn't taken seriously. And then I picked the name Rhyming Gaijin, which was like a joke. And people, now the hip hop guys would be like, yo, man, your name is whack. Therefore, you're whack. And they would like run around telling people he's whack. Never seen me. Then we'd be at a show together and they'd be like trying to whatever. And, then after they hear me, judging books by their covers. All right, so that's the first half. And then now I'm like, all right, I'm this guy and trying to figure it out. But I'm a hard person to be a fan of in real life, if that makes sense. So most of my friends never said I'm a fan of your music. I never heard it, right? So I'm thinking they don't really care about my music. Plus, they're doing music. And then finally, when I left Japan, a few of my friends were telling me, yeah, man, you are the real deal, which I mean, this would be like the last 2 years. Like, I wish I would have known that, but that's how it goes. Yeah. All right. How long did it take you to learn Japanese fluently? I never learned Japanese fluently. Why is the next question? Because I didn't want to until I wanted to. And then, there you go. Big up, enough said. Simon said, that's a cool name. Would you rather have 500,000? What? Well, if you are offering me $500,000, I will flip that and be able. That's a good question, though. Because I believe strongly, like if I'm close to successful people, I can model what they do. That's why I read a lot of the books that I read, because I'm not close to successful people. I read somewhere you are the sum of all the people that you're around. So if you're around, anyway. So if I was close to Jay-Z's circle, I could see how he moves and I could pick that up. But at the other time, how they say Jay-Z be stealing people's lyrics, flows, and everything, and then he kind of kicks you to the curb. What is that? Thanks for being you. Thank you. That's all I can be, man. I don't know if I would have that fly is getting on my nerves, man. And it's so small. That's why I don't go camping. Did you feel more freedom in Japan than an American as an African man? Um, I mean, the first years I was just a noob to Japan, so I was scared about this and scared about that. You know, America's my home. I know my way around stuff, but I don't know. It depends what you're trying to do. Like now, I drive my car with the engine light on, but I can go wherever. In Japan, I would have to use the train, but that can take you wherever. Um, I can't because of the situation. I can't really go off to Philadelphia or New York or wherever. But I'm close to where people would be doing music, where I can really be where the action is. But at this moment, like different circumstances, I'd fly out to LA and Texas and do the South by West, those things. Because that's where you meet like minded people, right? I'll do the Burning Man thing, like all those things. I know about them, but I would go out there. So in that sense, I would have more freedom. In America, I can get a big ass loan. I could start a business with a loan on some. This is my business plan, blah, blah, blah. In Japan, it would be a little bit harder. I'd probably have to go through my wife, and I don't have a wife. A lot of people put their businesses in their wife's name. It works. I don't want to do that. But I met a lot of foreigners when I was leaving, or the landscape kind of changed. So a lot of foreigners were starting to be in positions where they can own their own shit. So that's one thing. Not speaking the language fluently and not reading. Like I love being able to read and research and find stuff out. So I can do that here. It's a little bit harder in a country where it's not your native tongue. But I think it's 50-50-ish. All right, moving on. Been watching you for 10 years. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. Do you believe Jay does that? Now, this is the one reason that I would want to meet people like Jay-Z, because I would ask him, or I would at least get a feel for it. Because all I hear is, what people say. But it makes sense. Like Beanie Siegel, I told a story 2 weeks ago. He talked the way he talked. He walked the way he talks. So if he's like, I walk around with a gun and I shoot people in the head, he does that, right? So if you're trying to make money and your associate is messing that up, you would distance themselves. And as far as copying people's flows, we all do that to some extent. I remember when Eminem, he was doing his thing on Raucous and the Wake Up Show and all that. I didn't know that Eminem. When he came out with, hi, my name is, that's when I was introduced to Eminem. And I saw people change their flow, style, content to match his because, that's what people do, But, so I believe Jay-Z would be kind of, like I could hear the Kanye or the Freeway, even though what they do is wrong, got to hustle when the sun. I could hear Jay-Z's influence on that one, or the other way around. But hey, it's not illegal to bite someone's flow. Not nice, but it is what that is. But yeah. All right, what's going on? But yeah. I hear you. But he is in my top. I want to meet Jay-Z. I want to meet Mr. 3000. Because people think music is all glamour and and whatever. So I want to meet all the rappers who kind of just walked away from it because they had it and they just walked away. So that'd be Andre 3000, Most Def, or formerly known as Most Def. Prince, I mean, he's dead, but I would want to talk to him because he kind of, on the industry thing, because he figured out they fucking us over. Jizza, RZA, because he kind of masterminded Wu-Tang, and then he went off and did his movie thing, and I didn't read any of their books because it seemed like they're upset, and there's a whole bunch of pages to talking gossip. I don't know. I didn't read it, but his money is straight from what I could understand. He read the contract and he's doing good, so I want to meet up with them. Do I know any good Japanese rappers? No. I mean, there's Crava. He lived in New York for some time and he raps. Do you have Cash App or Zelle? I don't. I have a Zelle. Like, I have PayPal. That's what I've been using. I come to America and it's like, my sister is like, do you got a Cash App or a Zelle? Like, what the hell is a Cash App or Zelle? It's like a PayPal. I have a Zelle. Japanese rappers. I would say my friends who rap in Japanese. There's this dude. I was trying my best to do a collaboration with him because he reminded me of a Japanese T.I. He had the swag. He could freestyle. He didn't do like bilingual stuff. He just rapped his ass off and he was killing it. He had the flow. There's a Japanese rapper. I think his name is Matt. Yeah, he raps bilingual rap. A friend of mine, he raps in Japanese and Portuguese, I believe. There's a bunch of, they're not signed or whatever, but they're just really dope artists. There's like, what's cool about Japan rappers that, and I wanted to be that bridge kind of, but they are like, I saw, it had to be like 10 years, 15 years ago. They were like a squad. There was a dude, like a bunch of dudes, and then this white girl. She kind of reminded me of like an Iggy in the crew. But they were rapping kind of like a Odd Future type group. Maybe they modeled themselves because they had that kind of aesthetic. And they had the videos, but it was at a time when, they weren't getting big views or anything, but like that scene is just, it's been growing. Like they do the trap rap, not that that's my thing, but I just don't see the labels picking them up because it's like different out there. But so I don't know, if you Google Japanese rappers, you'll find the top 10 list and all that because they out there, they're doing their things. Yeah. And they're young too. One of my students, he approached me, like he does breakdancing, and he's like, "Can I breakdance to your?" Not even breakdance. He just does hip hop dance, and he choreographed a dance to one of my songs. Is it possible to get a job in Japan without a degree? Yes, it is. Just like it's possible to, I can't think of any equivalent, but yeah, it's possible. But I feel like most people who have that idea don't follow through when they get to when they land in Japan. They're doing everything else, not focusing, not knocking on doors, not like, it's hustle, man. Every day I'm hustling, but they weren't hustling. They doing all this other shit. I can speak from experience because that's what happened the second time. So I went to school there for a semester, and then I went back with the mission of I'm gonna find a job. Now I had a degree, but I went out there and all I did was go to the club every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It was fun, but then my visa, 3 months up, ran out of money, and I had to come back home. But you can get to Japan by being a student, like a language student. So you don't need a degree. Wait. You said to get a job. Yeah. I guess if you, I wish, I wish, like if you were wherever you are right now, right? If you master Japanese right here and like wherever you are, let's say you're in America, you master Japanese, because you could take the test, so you can level up or level down, level up till you're fluent. Take the test, they'll give you a score, it'll say that you're fluent. You speak Japanese natively. That kind of trumps a degree. You could get there and then you could get some, you could talk to people and get some other job. And, I met some people who kind of did that. Because really, in theory, if you met some job, some guy, and he's just like, and you're talking to him like a regular person, and he's just like, hey, I'll hire you. I got my own business. He can do that. He could even sponsor you. So that's one way. Another way is you go out there, you find yourself a little lady, you fall in love. Well, you should fall in love, but you find yourself a little lady, and you get married, and then you have a visa, and then you could work like that. Or you could find a little lady whose dad happens to be the owner of some company, and then you could work for the family business. I don't know if I mentioned military, but military will get you there. If you're really good at something, sports, I guess you could get you out there too. If you are a phenomenal performer, you could come out there. Can you make a living on a minimum wage in Japan? Yeah, you can. And where I'm coming up with this is, so now it might have changed, but at the company I worked at, the the Americans, the British people, Australians, we made more than other ethnic groups. They made less for whatever reason. And they were living. Hopefully that changed, because that's kind of fucked up, but I think it's a country thing. But another example is some foreigners would send money, like half their paycheck, because that was the purpose of them coming to get work in Japan, and send paychecks back to their family. And they weren't like, I don't know how their daily life was, but they were doing what they had to do. But a lot of it comes down to just good old fashioned managing your money. Like, do you have a budget? Are you impulsive? Are you buying things in bulk? Like, I remember one time, now I'm slow about things, but they have these passes, right? A train pass. And let's say you live at A, you live at A station, and your school is at D station. All right, let me change it. You live at Apple Station, and your train's at Dolphin Station. And it costs you $3 to get from your house to the station, to your school, and it costs you $3 to get back. You go to the school. I can't do the math, but you do it. So you go to school 5 days a week. So $30? Yeah. So you spend $30 every week, $60 every 2 weeks, and $120 every month to go from your house to your school. But you also go shopping on the weekend, so that's another $6 to get you from here and there. And let's say you got a friend who lives in C, right? So all this back and forth, you keep spending. But if you bought a month pass, right, then you can go to A station, B station, C station, and D station. And if you happen to go to E station, it would just be from D to E, right? And if you got a 3 month, and it's cheaper. So if you got a 3 month, you can get a 6 months. I think you can get a year. But I wasn't a fan of that idea because I was like, what if I put all this money on this stupid card and I lose it? Now you might be like, but what if you won't? Have you ever lost your wallet? But yeah. But once I figured that out, I was like, oh wow, shit, I could save X amount because I don't really go outside of my between where I live and my school. So things like that. If you kind of figure out a system how to kind of keep the money you're getting, you'll be good to go. Let's see here. Favorite Tokyo record shop. It would have to be Tower Records, the old Tower Records, back in the day, Tower Records. Because on the, I don't know, the 7th floor, they had like this big ass bookstore, which had like a big magazine section and books, English books about music. So that was cool. HMV was kind of cool until I think it's a clothing store now. I didn't really go there, but it was in Shibuya, and it would just be a place to go. Yeah. What's up, man? Hope you're doing all right. Hey, I'm alive, man. You know, just living, dealing with shit like everyone else. You know, everyone else is dealing with shit. Everyone is dealing with some kind of shit. But yeah. But all in all, man, I'm. It could be worse, considering. So, yeah, could be worse. Could be worse. Yeah, like my house is really hot, man. Not like cool hot, but just like hot, humid, and for reasons that are, we didn't put any air conditioners in all summer. But interestingly enough, my house was cool. Isn't it crazy? Something could be hot and something could be cool, and it's both a positive. Like I love explaining these kind of nuances of English language to my students because they would ask, "What's the difference between hot and hot?" One of my best things was at my junior school my last school I was at. He's like, "Can you make something using American TV shows? I want the kids to know. I want the kids to like hear natural English." Now I was looking for like some educational thing, but I couldn't find any. So I just took from like the news. And remember back in the day, he's climbing in your window, he's touching your kingdom up, hide your wife. You remember that? That was a long time ago, right? So I was doing all news, and then I ended on that one. And then he just saw like, and then it goes into the song. And the kids are just cracking up like, ah, because they wouldn't necessarily find it because it was kind of out of the thing. And then I had to tell them what the situation was. Like some dude tried to rape, and I had to keep it appropriate, age appropriate. So I'm like, some guy tried to break into their house, and they're just laughing because I felt really cool. I love that aspect, and towards the end, that's basically every class I was teaching. You know, whatever the language or whatever the lesson was, but I could do it whatever way I felt fit to do it. Like I there was one where this news reporter was underneath a tree, and he's like, and a bird shits in his mouth. And if you listen, you hear what he said. But you know, these are like 11-year-olds, 13, 14-year-olds, so they can't pick it up. So I'm just slowing it down for him, and it's just like, Richard, oh shit, and it's just like, bleh. But yeah, good times, good times. They actually sent me my last school. They sent me a bunch of like, we miss you thing, but it was like locked, and I couldn't read it. I kind of forgot about it. But I think I avoided it because it would just make me sad. I used to hate the end of the school years when you have to like say goodbye to the students. Not so much if you're at a school for 1 year because like I don't know you. What is this? We got all types of flying things. We got our spray, man. We going. I know where I get that from, or I think I know where I get it from. So yesterday there was this what do you call it? A fly, not a fly, like lantern bug on my dad's car. My dad went into the kitchen, got some spray, and he came back like prop prop prop. Like, yeah, I guess that's where I get it from. Assaulting on flies. Are you feeling any new music lately? I go through phases. So when I first started the gym, I would listen to random. So first I listened to like random top 20 or just random trap music. And you know, it's great for getting into the motion. Come on, man. You're bothering me. I got it. So I was listening to trap, and then I listened to some classical, which even though it's slow, it got emotion in that, man. Then I started listening to specific albums. So I listened to the old Kendrick, the Pimp a Butterfly, because I never I knew it came out. I knew it was all this and that. I just didn't pick it up. I listened to Tyler. I listened to Tyler the Creator, the not the newest one, but the other one. And I listened to the new Drake. No, I think I tried to listen to Drake. Yeah. And then I listened to the new Kendrick. But in general, when I'm listening to music, I'm listening. I guess that was like 3 months ago. Now when I'm listening to music, I'm listening to like instrumentals, samples, just kind of like making mental notes of the samples I have. Like I have thousands of samples. So I just listen to it. But I guess the music I'm feeling would be the Zumba music. Like that's the music I hear constantly, and I'm actually dancing to it. And yeah. Today she played for our warm up or cool down song. It was the Rihanna song. I don't need your picture shake it. When I'm with you, like a give it. So I like that song. I think I actually downloaded it. Or did I? I don't remember. Usually I didn't download stuff, but yeah. And now I got the J Dilla audiobook, which is 13 hours. So that's what I'm going to be listening to. And I got this book, which happens to be downstairs. So this book, 2 Beats Ahead. And every chapter has like a section where they give you random songs to listen to. Like let's see. All right, so for example, it has Rocket 88, Filthy, Justin Timberlake, Gangbuster, Dazed and Confused, Led Zeppelin, Hide and Seek, Emon Gon Heap. So I never heard these songs. I might have heard the names, but these are like songs that do something. So at some point I want to like put those on a list and expose myself to different types of music. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. You know. It's a debate online now. Did Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans invent hip hop or just USA black people? Thoughts? Wow, that is a great question. Great question. But I don't know why that's actually let me go in a different direction. Actually, let me answer your question first. Um, poor people invented hip hop. No, wait. Not, okay. So Puerto Ricans, blacks. Actually, see, Jamaicans. Like, it's such a pointless argument. It doesn't matter. No one's gonna get royalties from that. No one's gonna. But it was like a collaborative effort, collaborative. Jamaicans came over. They did their thing. They brought the sound systems. Puerto Ricans. I'm sure there was white people there too. And then black people who are here. Everyone's just doing their thing. But here, check out this one, which I'm pretty sure is missing from the discussion. And I figured this out when I was in Japan, right? So I'm at this club called Harlem, interestingly enough, right? And they're doing like a Black Lives Matter concert, which, okay. And there was like 4 black people in there. It was me, there was that guy, and that guy. There's like 4 black people, and then everyone else is Japanese. So okay, whatever. So there was this dude who does beatboxing, and he does like he had horns in the thing, like, and we're just talking, and he's like, I don't know how it came up, but when you think of all the equipment that was used in the beginning or to move hip hop along, it wasn't made by us. Akai MPC, not made by us, made by Japanese. Techniques, the records, not made by us. Roland, not made by us. I'm sure the speakers, like all that, without those tools, would we been able to do that? Probably not. So technically, we could say that Japanese people made hip hop, but I know that's an argument that no one's going to really want to hear. But, yeah. Dazed and Confused, oh, Nothing, Same album, beautifully mixed. See, like, I'm very, and you probably know this about me if you've watched me long enough. I'm kind of, whatever I'm doing, I'm like doing it. Everything else on the fringes, on the sides, or peripheral, I don't see it. And I don't care about it. It does not affect me. It's just, but when I'm in this area, then I kind of go deep into it. But yeah, that's the purpose of this book, kind of enlighten me. I think hip hop was inspired by dancehall. I mean, it's like, I don't have a picture, but Dilla Time, it talks about hip hop. It goes back, to European, right? So and it goes into syncopation, like it's a different approach to how hip hop, the rhythm, how when we were enslaved, they kind of made us not do rhythms. It's like, you got to do it this way. But then ragtime, this is just a one, it's haven't seen, but ragtime is kind of like, da-da-da, and then, well, let me finish the book, or let me finish the chapter before I get onto that. But it was always in us, and the people who kind of enslaved us didn't want us to do it, but then we kind of kept doing it. Jazz and blues, and it's, but yeah. What made you decide to switch from? What made you decide to switch from? Okay, what made you decide to switch from machine to koala sampler? That's a great question. Technically, it's not a switch. It's more of a convenience. So, let's see. I had the MPC 500, loving it. That's what I came to Japan with, or I bought it in Japan. And then Machine came out, the first one. I'm like, wow, because, the MPC was limited in what it could do. And then the machine was the first hardware that could interface with the computer, and it's just wow, loved it. And then they started to bring the colors, and it's all like fun. And then I'm up to MK3, and then the MPC Live came out. I'm like, wow, I got to get this because that's battery powered. First year, I could not use it because I didn't read the manual. So then the next summer, I sat there, and the whole summer, I just read the manual page by page. And then I bought some online tutorials. Bought, you hear? I said I bought. But after that, I was able to program it, and it was cool, but it was heavy. After the second year of having it, my back started hurting. I had a little bag, and it would just break the bags. And then Christmas came, and I was like, I want to get an SP404 because it's much lighter. Or I should get an iPad. So I went with the iPad, and I started downloading the apps. So I had Koala, but I didn't use it. And then I don't know how it happened. Like, I just got random apps. But one day I picked it up, and I was just playing around with it. And it's really easy. Like, it's portable. It's on your iPhone. It's even on your desktop. And then I found a little community, and now I as right now my machine is on my desk. It's on my table right now because I just rediscovered how much fun machine is. And basically that's what I do. I just go from different apps, different hardware, because they're just tools, you know. They all do the same thing, more or less. They were all in New York. New York. Well, West Coast and the human condition. I think it's one of those, the chicken or the egg thing. Cause hip hop is in every country now. Like it's the language of resistance. And this is a topic. Apparently the guy who wrote J Dilla, he teaches at what is it, NYU? Like, there's a class on J Dilla. Now it might be an interesting class. A bunch of people, do you make beats? No, I'm just here because I heard he's such a, but I still think it's a cool class. I might even go to it now that I'm here. But let's see here. What made you decide to switch from machine? Okay. Are you about to be a teacher? Is it elementary? What class are you teaching? It's how do I explain? I'm not a teacher. Or what do you call it? How do they phrase it? So in a class, there'll be some kids who are struggling with reading, and we'll come in there and 1-to-1 or 1-to-3, we'll kind of get them. We'll teach them we'll improve their reading. And we have they did research on this. Like, there's a way that we learn to read that they don't teach us that. So we're going to teach them how the basics on some. Yeah, so that's what we do. That's what I'm going to do. You ever come close to getting in a fight in Japan? Yeah. Just once. Yeah, just once. Cause I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, you know. But on this particular day, I told the story already, but I'll tell it again. I was at the club with my friends, female friends, and they were talking to these guys. And these guys were all just, doing what guys do, just all up on them. And then we decided to go to a different club, and these guys are like grabbing them. And like, you're not leaving, you're going to come with me. And I'm like asking my female friends, do you want to go with them? And they're like, no, we don't want to go with them. So I'm like, yo, they don't want to go with you. And he's like, you can't have all the girls. I'm like, they're my friends. So then I kind of just like, they're not going. And then he's like, you Americans, you think you own everything. And then his friend's like, yo, don't fuck with him. And I'm like, I kept my face. It was a shitty night, and I was just. But something could have happened because there was three of them, one of me, and then two girls. So it wouldn't have worked in my favor if shit went down. But yeah. So that was the only time. Other than that, I'm just doing what I usually do. Just do my music. Yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. So tonight is movie night, but there's no movies. Yo, that's what I wanted to ask. So I think it's state, America wise. I don't know how you say it. Countrywide. It's gonna be $3 movie day on Saturday. I'm late to the stream. This is the last one, apparently. It is. Well, welcome to the stream. It is the last one for now. I'm gonna start working. Kind of excited. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I went to the job, right, to do like I had an interview with the night staff. So I go in there, and there's this, I don't know, this what how employee who's always there because I always go there at night. And I asked her, "Can you get the manager?" And then I walk in there, and they're just like, "I didn't even know you're coming." I'm like, what's my job position? So I have two jobs. One job, I'm going to be working the night shift stocking products on a shelf. It's not the greatest job, but it's kind of low impact, and I don't anticipate. I think this store doesn't is not open 24 hours. They used to be, but I think after a certain time, no one's going to be there. So I think it'll be a kind of chill, relaxed thing. And then in the daytime, 3 days I'll be teaching at school. So yeah, but they're like, yeah, you're that Japan guy. So that's gonna be the thing. Oh, you're a Japan guy. And then when I came out, I saw the girl, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna be colleagues. And she's like, huh? I'm like, we're gonna be coworkers. She's like, yay! So, but whatever. She seemed nice. Yay! But yeah. I was an overnight soccer before too. The good thing about it was quiet and chill. How much they paying you? And all right, yo. One time, I before I went to Japan, I was stocking the liquid section in Walmart, and you know, just I just graduated from college. I'm trying to get back to Japan because I just came back from Japan studying abroad, graduated, and now I'm trying to get back to Japan, and it's just like that chapter of my life. It's like, so what are you gonna do with your life now? I'm like, I'm going to get back to Japan. So what are you gonna? And I'm sending out these applications, and nobody's trying to hire me, and it's just getting frustrated. And it's just like, you got to do something. I'm like, yeah, you need. But so I'm overnight stocking, and at this point, Walmart's open. This is pre-COVID, right? So Walmart is open all night long, and this girl and her friend would come by and like, where's the Coca-Cola? Like, I'm standing in front of the Coca-Cola. I'm like, it's right here. And I give her a thing, and she every night she'd come, and eventually, but yeah. But it's quiet. Let's see here. How much they paying and what they looking for in a new hire? Cause I need a job. For the teaching job, more or less, you need to experience teaching. So that for the stocking, I think it's what, $12 or something. And he's like, yeah, man, if you do a really great job, you get 50 cents. Like, I feel bad for him because I didn't say to him, I'm just here because Well, I did tell him, I gave him the thing. I said, hey, listen, the reason I'm here is because I was living in Japan. I was teaching. My mom passed away. I came home. I'm taking care of my dad. Da da da. I didn't even get a condolences. They're just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, can you do the job? But hey, whatever. But as soon as if things change, I'm gonna quit so fast. But pew, hopefully they don't be like bothering me. Just let me do my thing in peace. We'll see. Message rejected. Have you looked into remote positions that you can do from home? Um, I haven't, and really, I don't want to be home because it's not. Like, I couldn't make an office space. You know, what I mean, it's not that kind of thing. If that makes sense, maybe it doesn't make sense, but it's not. Yeah, I mean, I do Fiverr. Fiverr is kind of like that. I think I got ripped off, man. So this guy from Australia, he's like, "Yo, can you make this song?" I already did it back in the day, like 6 months ago. And he came back, and so I sent him just a little thing, and he disappeared. And that's what it is. Why not? Laptop on a table, lock the door. I wish, like I can't explain it. Can't explain it. It's one of those things, right? How can I put this? How can I put this? How can I? How can I? How? All right, I'll put it this way: if I lived alone in my own house, then yeah, I would do that. But I don't live alone in my own house. I live in my dad's house, and therefore, it's different. The end. Hey Ryan, I just came in. See you last week. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen next. I don't. But either way, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be working the night shift, and I'll be all sleepy and tired and shit. And I'm gonna jump and do the morning shift. Be sleeping all the time. But yeah, yeah. How's every? I mean, I know it is my stream and all, but how are y'all doing? Like, as you know, it's the end of summer. You good? Da 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 da. Because you know, if I had one regret, it's not a regret, but I didn't really. How can I say this? A lot. I think everyone in the world does some cool shit. It may not be living in Japan or making music, but everyone's doing some cool shit. And sometimes I just don't know. You know, like I'd be talking to someone like, yeah, I'm a painter, I'm a this. I'm like, man, I didn't know that. That's really cool. So yeah, I want to know what's up with y'all. Let me in. Have you heard of a job called order filler? I was last year at Walmart. I cannot say 20. And you could either work weekends, 3 to 4 days, flexible. I had never heard of the job, but another part of this is so my car is kind of like janky. It's working, but the Walmart closest to me is way. I mean, I could walk it. Well, I don't want to walk it. The place where the overnight place, it's I walk there just because I want to walk there, so it's within reason. Have you heard of a job position called Black Robber, Bank Robber? I was one last year, and the pay was infinite, and I was really flexible. Day to day for me trying to find work. Also, gotta find a place to live in a few months. Um, I've heard of this job called bank robber, but I don't know if I have the 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 pay. No, it, from my understanding, bank robbing is a team effort. I don't really have anyone I trust to you know be there with you know what I'm saying. Like, bro, you need glasses. Yeah, I do. I have them. I'm not gonna wear them. Yeah. Plus, this text on the side is super small, man. It's like on some what 8 font something. Yeah, because when I went to the optometrist, and I'm like, I can't read, and I was pointing to like whatever machine they use to take your whatever, and there's like the little fine print. Like I can't read that fine print. She's like, you're not supposed to be able to read fine print. Like when they do the ECG thing, I have no issue with that. I just don't like when they be manhandling me. They be rough, man. I guess it's because I have the cheapest insurance and this is the quality you get. You pay for what you get, but they be rude, man, and rough. They don't even be calling me by my name. They be like, "Okay, Michael," and there's no one in there. I mean, there's a lady, and then there's me. So I'm like, you're probably talking to me, but my name's not Michael. And I stand up, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. But yeah. So when is the last time you done got some yens here in the great U.S. of A? Well, I went to the store, right, and I wanted to cook something healthy, but something with some meat to it. So I ordered some yams, and yeah, um, situation is is I long story short, that's not where my focus is at. I guess you know my friend. Actually, I'm gonna leave it all that out there. But yeah, uh, I heard of doctors in Japan because lately they've been jerks for you. Japan doctors are also rough. I mean, when I went to the dentist, they were doing the X-rays, and she was like jamming that thing in your mouth, and she's just like, "Oh, daijoubu, daijoubu." Like, no, like what's wrong? Like, you jamming shit in my mouth. But when I came here, they did the same thing. So maybe it's in their like thing. Jam the X-ray thing in their mouths because we got to get our X-ray. But um, long story short, uh, I don't go anywhere. That's one. I walk on my trail. I go to the gym. I go to Giant. The end. Uh, life imitates art. Art imitates life. I guess. I guess. But she wasn't cute, and it wasn't fun. I mean, one time what was I getting? What were they doing? I don't know. They have to put what was it? I don't know what it is, but they had to put something on your skin, like a little metal thing, maybe to test your heart. I don't remember, but it was really cold, and I remember when she put it on me, I was just like, "Oh, it's cold," and she's just like, "Hee hee hee hee." So that was funny, but I forget what the thing was. And taking blood in Japan, I mean, it depends who's doing it, but all the experience of taking blood in Japan have been painful. Not that I mean, I don't care for needles, and I'd be looking the other way, but it takes a very long time. Where someone came to my house to take the blood, and it took like 3 seconds. I'm like, "You done?" She's like, "Yeah." And she showed me the 3 vials of blood, and I'm like, "Wow, that was really quick." Where in Japan, it's like they're getting like little drops. Not fun at all. Did anyone there never ever call you the N word? Um, No, 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 not that I could recall. Said stupid shit. Yeah, a lot of people did that, but no one did that. Yeah. But being home, no one has done it yet either. So right now they're equal. But it really depends what you do, where you are. It always depends, you know. It always depends, man. Because most of the time in Japan, I spent most of my time teaching, working on music in my house, going to clubs, but I was performing. But yeah. I wanted to go there badly before, not sore about it now. Japan seems difficult. Like, go with the flow or stuff. Uh, I mean, I should get a T-shirt, man. It really depends on you, where you end up, like the circumstances around it. Like I met people in Japan who always are ready to fight, and I met people in America who are always ready to fight. So if someone steps on their shoes, they're ready to shoot them. If that person goes to Japan, they would probably have the same feeling. And, you know, another big issue is people have really high expectations of things. Like me, when I go work at Stock and Stuff, I'm not expecting them to be like I expect them to be dicks. Like I expect the guy to be younger than me. So that's my base. It could be above, plus, could be below, whatever. But I'm not going out of my way because it's a mental thing. I'm not. That is not where I'm ending up. The same thing was when I was working at Walmart. I'm just here for this time, moving on, passing by. But been called the N word only online and game. Yeah, so like that's a perfect example. Gaming, that would happen. Maybe in sports, that would happen. Messing with someone's girl, that could happen. Being in a rival gang or posse, or that could happen. But I couldn't imagine sitting at the desk and then the principal comes over and he's just like I just couldn't see that happening. So here's an example, right? So you know how they always say Japanese people are so kind and so this and so this, right? And in general, they are. My 2 years ago school, I happened to work with a lady, Japanese lady, who was American. Like she had the American soul in her. So she wasn't like the a nail that stands up gets hammered down. She did not care. She kept her finger. For example, in general, there's every year. So look, okay, we'll say 6, 7, 8, sixth grader, seventh grader, eighth grader. So the new crop of kids come in sixth grade, so they don't know anything. You gotta teach them. Then the seventh grade, and then the eighth grade, they're gonna move to the next school, so you gotta help them prepare for whatever. Usually, you move with your students, but first year they're really difficult because they're all like new, and you gotta break them in. And then third year, you gotta do a lot of teacher conferences, and you gotta do all this extra shit. So this teacher, she's like, I'm gonna stay in right in the middle. I'm not gonna move because I don't want to. On some like I'm an American, right? So all the other teachers had to be stuck every year doing the first year stuff, or stuck every year doing the third year stuff. She just didn't care. I respect that because I'm American. You do what you want to do. So that was her MO. So I had a part-time job, so I would leave early sometimes, and I would take like a half day in the beginning, but then I just start to leave because I'm trying to get that paper, right? So I asked her, hey, can you like change the schedule around? Because I want to do what I want to do. She want to do what she want to do. So we were bumping heads. And she, for a while, she was just upset about me taking off. Like, not even like my part-time job would start at 4 o'clock. I would leave school on schedule at 3:30, but class would finish at 3. So technically, I should be able to leave. I ain't got nothing to do. And most teachers were cool with it, but she didn't like it. She said, "You're here till 3:30." And same thing with the morning. If I would come to work, if I had a class at 9 and I'm supposed to be there at 8, I'm going to come in at 8:45. And one time she called me. She's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm on the train." She's like, "You're supposed to be here at 8." I'm like, "Well, I don't have a class. Like, it's on your schedule." So then, I asked her, whatever. So I said, "Hey, ma'am," or whatever her name is. I said, "I need to do something after work. Can you change the schedule?" She says, I said, "I will take a half day off. So instead of that one class, I'll skip all 7 classes. That way, I could do what I got to do." And so she turns around to another teacher. She's like, blah, 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 blah. And she says in Japanese, "Matthew is selfish, but it's wagamama." It's not like a bad word, but it's not a nice thing to say. And Japanese people would never say that to someone's face. But she's American. So I turn around. I'm just like, "You going to call me names?" And she's like, now we're just going back and forth. And then she's like, and then I was ready to leave the school, And they're like, "No, you got to stay." And, man, it was not fun times. But, yeah. So if you meet a bunch of that kind of person, Japanese person, whatever you're doing, it's going to suck for you or whoever that person is, because not only did she bother me, everyone in the school kind of had this, "Yeah, we don't like her." Because eventually I would meet the principal and was like, "Yeah, I know. She's kind of a bitch." He didn't say that, but that's what he was kind of saying. And everyone else was echoing this. And then if we were outside the school, like, "Yeah, she's a bitch." I'm like, "Why don't you fire her?" Like, we can't. She can stay here as long as she wants to until her contract is up. I'm like, wow, that's gangster. Again, I respect her hustle, man. Like, she got, like, more or less she's doing what I do, but she's doing it as a Japanese person. She doesn't care. Unfortunately, she's infringing on my thing. But eventually, she would, like, take off for, like, 3 months. And then we got a new teacher, and then she just kind of quit. I think I was the catalyst for that, because I'm not Japanese, and I was going to stand my ground. But, yeah, so things like that. If you're in a bad job, if you're in a bad relationship, if you're in a place where you don't have any friends or activities to do, Japan will suck. Kind of like what I'm going through right now. I'm home, but I don't have shit to do. I was thinking about this, right? So my mom passes away. My sister, she has her husband or her partner, and she has her kids, and she has her job. So she went back to that life. My brother has his wife and his job and his friends, goes back to this life. Me, my friends are all in Japan, and my job is in Japan. So adjusting was kind of not easy for me. But I'm here, and if you've been following me all summer, you saw how I did what I did to do what I got to do. Are you still going to do teaching job updates or just be busy? I don't know. I do know I want to be consistent. So once a week or once every 2 weeks, because it's one of those things. Once you kind of stop, because during COVID, I was working out every day, doing like push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks. Probably annoying to my neighbors, because I'd be doing that like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I'd be jumping up and down. Then one day I just stopped. And then after that, I could not get back into the habit of it. Because one of my goals before the end of the year, I want to hit 1,000 videos on the Rhyming Gaijin channel. It doesn't mean anything, but I would just like to say, I got 1,000 videos up. But, yeah. So that's the plan. Once a week or something. But it depends on, because I know for the stocking job, That's going to be the weekend night shift. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be doing that. Then the teaching job, which you want to know what's lame? And I talked about this, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it makes no sense. I think it's out of spite. But, vloggers. I can't start teaching until my company that I worked for 6 months ago sends a form saying that I had no issues with the children, because that's a big thing in America. And my company that I worked with 6 months ago has still not sent it. But the company that I worked for 15 years ago, they sent it. They were like the first one to send it, which is crazy. How could a 15-year ago who I'm not even on the roster? But as soon as that happens, then I could, figure out the schedule. So we'll figure that out, man. Are you still gonna do the which J vloggers did you meet? I met Tokyo Sam, TKO Sam. I met GS350 JPM, GS350 Ralph. That Japanese girl, I had a crush on her. I don't even know if you know her. That's really all I forget his name, but the big guy, the guy who was like on the number one J vlogger at that time. I met him a couple times, hung out at his house. I think he lives in New York. Maybe I could reach out to him. Yeah. Yeah, 15 years ago, man. Times have changed. Yeah, the jet guy. But in general, as I was saying, I wasn't keen to meet J vloggers because I didn't consider myself a J vlogger. I was just a rapper making music. But at the end of the day, Give Me a Break Man and Hiko Simon. We met. I forget why we were together, but we met one day, just after some event, and it was really cool because, we're all nerds talking about camera stuff, and like that's what I miss in being here in the States. There's no one to like geek out about stuff. Like, you know what I did today? One of my projects. So I got this beat. I got this actually, it would be easier to show it, but I'm not going to show it. So if you take one note and you stretch it out across the keyboard, you basically have whatever instrument. So if you took a C note and you just put it on this thing, then you have a doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's an old school way of making like a keyboard, whatever. So there's these people or whatever, they sample like really interesting gear, like gear that I couldn't afford to have. And then they just play a C note. So now when I play my thing, it'll stretch out. So I organize. You see, this is not exciting. But when I was with the guys in Japan, we just like, not a J vlogger, just vlogger and J. I keep it funky, cool. That's the rhyming guide. I mean, at the end of the day, I was vlogging. But, I just didn't like the whole, hey guys, I'm in Japan and this is a Hello Kitty. But, to each their own. I'm learning music. I tried but lazy. I'm that way when it comes to my website. Every time I try to make the website, I just can't do it, man. I pay the bill every month, so because I got some emails that are tied to it, but it's difficult for me. But music, oh my gosh, man. All day, every day. And I learned shit. Like recently, again, here's some geek talk, right? So when I used to sample, or one way of sampling, you take a sample, so da da da. Again, it'll be easier to show. I'm not going to show. So it'd be like, And can't you feel the love? That's. So I would take can you feel and then chop it. Just chop. Can you can't you feel love? So this kind of juxtaposition of thing, and then it just works. But recently I've been doing looping. So you take a part of whatever. Can't you feel? So can't you feel, and then slow it down. You feel. And then you put the drums. It's a whole different way to do it. Which, for whatever reason, I just never did it that way. This is partly because of Koala's workflow. It got me, because the way you can, I really want to show it, man. I want to just show you how fun that is. But actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because it's here. All right. Here's the iPad, right? Here's Koala. All right. All right. So here's Koala doing Koala stuff, and so all okay. Let me just pull up something real quick. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. All right. All right. So here's a sample, right? All right. So that whole waveform is a sample, right? All right. So if you go in there and you just kind of come in and find a part, so something like that, and then you slow it down, and now you got a whole nother vibe to it. Yeah, so I've been just really upping the way I sample shit. But yeah. Yeah. So I've been making beats for at least 25 years, right? And I'm still learning how to make better beats. Like, oh man. And some people, when they listen to their old stuff, they're like, but my old stuff, I love that too because I made it and I remember the circumstances with where I made it from and what I was using and how I was feeling. Like my kicks, my drums, they used to be too clean. You know what I'm saying? Like another thing I've been doing is drum breaks. And this is because when I was in Japan, I was in the band and there was a guy playing the drums. He was from Portugal. I don't know where he's from, but he played the drums and he'd just be like on some Questlove, like, and we were supposed to do a little project together. He would play drums and I would rap on it, but every time we try to make a plan, he just flaked out on me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy drums. So I started buying all these drum loops from other professional drummers. That's another thing I did today because I saw another drum pack that I wanted, but then I'm like, I already got a shitload of drums. So I started to reorganize the drums into like, again, this is what I do, man. This is what gets me excited. So I put it in a way that makes sense. That way, when I'm ready to get in there, and then you chop, man, and all this is new stuff. That's awesome. I try to make a beats on FL3. It's not for me. But what do you think of the lo-fi? I'm slow. So I didn't know about lo-fi, the movement. And one day, right, I'm at this club, and the DJ was playing lo-fi music. And for me, lo-fi is something you rap on. It's just that, there's no rapping on a lo-fi. Lo-fis are usually instrumentals, and I'm like, wow, that shit is awesome. What is this? Like, it's lo-fi. I'm like, what? And again, I asked him, "Can you like make me like a collection of songs so I could rap on it?" He flaked on me too. So then I Googled it or YouTubed it, and I found things. And there's a couple of, I think I was making some videos of me rapping over lo-fi for a little bit. Then I discovered a bunch of these lo-fi sample packs. I got a shitload of them. The 360 thing is basically half lo-fi-esque beats. But my heart is boom bap, man. That's where I'm at. And jazz, which is kind of boom bap-y. I called, well, as far as FL Studio, my nephew uses it. And most young people use it, but when I came home and he's just like showing me how he does his stuff, I was just blown away because it's easy. It's super easy, man. Like compared to like a hardware, and there's a whole bunch of people online. Like they have people showing you how to make a Drake kick. On an MPC, they had people sampling Drake's kick to put it in there, but on FL, so, and then the workflow is like really fast. He could just bang out beats and shit. So I went home and downloaded the demo. It was there's a learning curve. And then my friend's son, he also has FL Studio, and same thing. He's just like, now I probably will get it in Christmas because they do the 50% off sale. So I'll probably get it at that point. But at this point, I got Ableton, I got Logic, I got Machine. So if I get another DAW, it's just so. Caught a drumstick, used that. He threw it right at me. Yo, Questlove is cool. Like I read a couple of his books, audiobooks. He's interesting because he's like, I'm not really like I think I would get along with him because he reads books and he writes books and he's all about the history and shit. But he's really humble. He comes up a lot when it comes to Dilla. In fact, the reason that I revisited the whole Dilla thing, because I was listening to Quest's book and he's like, yeah. And he told a story about how J Dilla impressed him. And I'm like, okay, who is this Dilla guy? So then I found a book and yeah. How long do you think you'll stay in America? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But while I'm staying here, I'm gonna make sure I get all my ducks in order. He's in Japan now. He makes beats on after they make it look. As far as making things look, it's just practice, learning whatever piece of equipment you have and just like playing the piano. Like I can't play the piano. I've been learning it, but I don't have that practice, that muscle memory. Same with bass, like basically anything, people who make it look easy, do the work and get it popping. Like for Koala, what I like about Koala, there's not too much to learn. It's pretty minimal, but it makes your brain stretch because then when you go back to like Ableton or something, I feel like there's a whole. I made this analogy this morning. It'd be like if you're running with weights on, and then when you take the weights off, you just feel like you're lighter, like pew. So yeah, man, Koala is a great entry level program to get it popping. There's a guy, I think his name's Matt. I think he has did big deals or stuff. Yeah, he's out there. There's another dude, what's his name? I forget his name, but I met him at a beat live. That's another thing. I didn't even know what a beat live was. All the times I was making beats live, I didn't know there's a whole scene for beat lives. And I went to it to do some reconnaissance, because at this time I was doing beat battles and I was in the group and we were trying to look for people to beat battle. And I thought, well, maybe people who beat live would want to be in the beat battle. So I went there on the reconnaissance mission. But apparently, people who beat live are not necessarily battle beat makers, because that's a different. It's kind of like battle rap. I could rap all day. Do I want to be shouting in someone's face? Nah, not really. But Devin, his name's Devin. So everyone is like Japanese, and then there's this one black guy. I'm like, oh wow, there's a black guy. I wish I was that black guy on stage. I could make. That's what I'm thinking. And then he does his set, and then he gets. I'm still there, and then he's behind me, and I'm being antisocial. So I didn't. I was gonna be like, give him a dap, like, yo, your shit was nice, but I didn't because I just didn't. So he's behind me, and he taps me like, yo, are you rhyming Gaijin? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I used to watch your shit all the time. Da 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 da. I'm like, that's what's up. And then I said, yeah, your set was really dope. And that was that. And then while we were looking for beat battlers or whatever, I reached out to him like, hey, you want to come and do this beat battle? He's like, okay, I'll do it. And he shut the shit down, man. He came out. He won the first round. He won the second round. He did a little third round exhibition. It was just like I've never seen, because my skill set is, because basically sample battles are they send you a sample, you get 30 minutes to flip it. But I was flipping samples under 5 minutes to get, train my brain on some one finger punch technique. So if they give you 30 minutes, I'm going to do it in 5. So I wasn't really stressed. And then I randomized it. So it'd just be like, close my eyes and pick any sample. Because a soul sample, you go to town with that. Some random, they once had a whale mating song sample. So I was okay with that. But sometimes you get a little nervous. But I've never not made a beat. But anyway, he came out there, he played the beat. Like, he took the sample and then he played the bass and he played some keys on top of it. And everything was mixed and mastered sounding. And it came through the system. It just, there was no denying this guy could win. Do you have any rock, hip-hop beats? I'm always find that type of music very, Anthrax sound a while back. Not really. Most of my samples they're soul samples or actually they call it prog rock. Like that's a genre, but usually soul sample sounding. Yeah. When I was in high school, we entered in the battle of the bands, right? So I made this was before Party Like a Rock Star. No, actually, it was before that one. Because I wasn't out yet. That was when I was in Japan. What's the other one? You should look up Vapor came before Vaporwave. I mean, synthwave, vaporwave, even aspects of hip hop like horror rap, and I literally how I find about a music is 3 ways. 1, I'm in the car and that person is playing that music. Like I knew Cassidy from If You Want to Come to My Hotel, and that's all this. That's the songs he was putting out, right? Then I'm in the car and it was a Cassidy Jim Jones mixtape, and he was spitting. I'm like, oh wow, he's a rapper. He's one of my favorite battle rap type guys. So that's one way. I'm in the car with someone. It really is earwormy. Like, it just keeps playing. There was a song, Timberland and Fly Like a Bird, or it went doot 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 doot. If you want to come to the time, I miss you, Promiscuous Girl. I kept hearing that. It was like a TV commercial. It just kept doo 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 doo. And then when I heard it at the club, I'm like, ah. Then there's a club. If I'm at the club, whatever moves me. But other than that, I don't really go out of my way to discover new music, which is a shame, because I read a book and it's like, you as an artist, you should always expand your thing. So now Spotify, or I don't use Spotify, but I try to hear new shit. Yeah. And recommendations kind of work, but I usually write it down, but I never look at it. Yeah, that's me. That's me, man. But man, I feel like all these stories, like the Magic Japan is gone cause Arona. I mean, if we put this, if we were to contrast this to like you remember after 9/11 how everything was just kind of shut down and it was just no flying, and it's like I'm not getting on a plane ever. I'm pretty sure I said that. I'm not going to get on a plane. And it felt like the end of the world, you know? But then next week, 2 weeks from it'll be 9/11. There's not even going to be people really talking about it. Like it's just the dude, the Kim Kardashian, Kanye's wife's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. His dad, from what I've seen, his dad died as a firefighter during 9/11, and he used that as a comedy thing, or he used comedy as an outlet. But he, like, life moved on, right? So Corona's here, but my thing is, it's kind of like you ever see the shows where they're like they go back in time and they're like, or we'll put it in Marvel terms. Yeah, that guy. So they got rid of Loki and they got rid of Ronan, but then Thanos, he came. But there's other bigger people. So Corona's here or whatever, but there's worse coming, man. Like they claim, and maybe they're true. Maybe Captain Planet was telling us the truth. But if all these events are happening because of global warming, it's only going to get worse because it's irreversible, right? That's kind of scary, man. Floods in like places that we're going to look back at this time period and be like, But I like to say, you know, right now at this moment, we, you and me, and I mean, right now. So in the past, that it's in the past. It happened. In the future, it hasn't happened yet. All right now is now. Enjoy this moment. Not necessary with me but you know, the moment, because nothing's promised. It could get better, it could get worse, but that's my one day I'm gonna be on some TED Talk. Yo, so Steve Harvey, right? I seen this thing he posted. He's like, you know about the flea? A flea can jump so high. And I'm like rolling my eyes. Because I know, well, I don't know if you read the same book I read. And the book I read is probably quoting from the same thing. But basically, the flea can jump really high. And if you put it in a jar, it's going to jump out of the jar. But if you put a lid on top of the jar, the flea will keep bumping his head. After a while, the flea will no longer jump high. It'll stop itself from jumping high. So now Steve Harvey's getting it. Oh, you're such a philosopher and you're such a great guy. When I said the same thing to people around me, like, what the fuck are you talking about, you stupid motherfucker? Okay, they didn't say all that, but they weren't like I need a TED Talk platform to be going into my thing. But it will happen, or I'll die. One of the two. But long story short, I think there's, as long as you're alive and breathing, a lot of great things are to come. I think that's one of the things that kept me being me. You know? And then, yeah. One thing I regret, today I didn't get anything to drink. Oh, wait, I did. I don't regret that. I got some juice in the fridge. Yeah. I don't know about the YouTube algorithm, but yeah. I, although I'm on YouTube, I don't know about YouTube, man. I know I'm a partner, but I don't know if I'm a partner. Actually, as a partner, it means I can go to like the YouTube space in New York, I think. But I don't like everything is just randomly. Cause that'd be a place where I could meet people, I think. Yo, what is your key to life? What kind of juice you got? Wait, what a juice? What is your key to life and what kind of juice? Okay. I got so my mom, every time I'd come home for Christmas, we'd go to Walmart and she would get this juice. I forget the brand. Not Dole, but and it'd be like 3 for $5. She's like, pick up 3 of those. And then she'd freeze 2 of them. And now when I see them, I just get them because not 3 of them because I don't like freezing stuff and unthawing it. I guess I do it with chicken. But anyway, the key to life, I don't know. All I know is to be true to yourself. But that gets you in trouble because you trying to be true to yourself has people trying to try you. And then after a while of seeing that they can't try you, then it's like, okay, you're you. But you still got to go through that, which is annoying. Like you can't just be you. And if you know how, if you listen to half of my talks in the morning, that's basically it. You know, it's like just let people be themselves. Let them discover and find and support them. You know, not try to. And then after the fact, I always support. No, you didn't. You made life hard. But yeah, but I guess that being true, because when you're true to yourself, no one can take that from you. And there's value to it. Like, I came home because I wanted to. It was my choice. That's different from, you must come home. Then I might be all like, oh, I don't have any choice. But it's my choice. I'm working at Giant because at the food store because I want to. And I know that if I get tired of it, I can go somewhere else. And it's temporary. Like, just those kind of things. Owning your shit. That's another one. Owning your shit. So, like I got a ticket. Not a ticket. Well, I did get a ticket. When I came home, I parked the car on the wrong side of the street and I got a ticket. On my birthday. I made a rap about it. But I paid it because it was my ticket. The end. And this kind of, you own your shit, and then you could just get it on, go on. I believe. What's good, rhyming? Hope you're well. How's the new job? I didn't start the job yet. I got 2 jobs now, 3 jobs. So 1 job, but technically it's not a job. It's taking care of my dad. But I'm gonna get paid to do that. But it's my dad. I do it for free. One is stocking the things that's gonna start. I'm gonna start training this week, and then the teaching job. I already got a paycheck because I did this online training for them, and yeah, I got. It's you get paid every week, so I got a paycheck last week and a paycheck this week. I didn't do any training because I want to wait till I start the job, so I won't get a paycheck this week or next week. But I'm just waiting for some paperwork so I can start to get that job. You know, you can pop. You know what? You know, you can put the chat and blow it up from the right. I didn't know that. Let's. All right, it's got wider, but it's still all like small. Participants toggle participants time stance. Yeah, see, I mean, I was saying since I started live stream that I'm gonna learn how to use this stuff, but I did a preliminary check and I didn't see anything about it. I found one that was talking about streaming and how you gotta blah 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 blah, but not so much about how to use this stuff. Let's see here. Bump, bump, bump. I feel like these days YouTube is a favorite shorts. It's trying to be the new TikTok, but I don't think that'll work. Yeah, I saw that one. I was watching some YouTube videos and they're like shorts. But yo, you remember Vine? I met this guy, right? And he's like a social media guy. He's like, yeah, man, Vine in Google Space. And Vine is going to be the next big thing in Google Space. So I'm like, I don't know about Google Space or Google Chat, whatever the hell it was. And I looked at Vine like, there's no way people are going to, you only get 6 seconds. How can that, I just did not see the benefit of it. And then it hit me because that's where like I forget all their names. A bunch of people started making their Vines and starting to work it. And then I try to get back on there, but and TikTok, I think I deleted it for some reason. I forget the reason why, but I like your point. Thank you. Yo, I'm because with teaching, right? I didn't want to be a substitute teacher because my feeling is kids in this era and that era and any era, they don't respect substitute teacher. You're kind of like a joke day, and I don't got time for that shit. And then kids coming with ARs and stabbing teachers and shit. I didn't want to do that. I did apply to work at like a college. That would have been cool. I felt that would have been a nice lateral. Like I was teaching in Japan. I'm teaching at a college or university. But it didn't work out because they didn't want me. And then this job, it was just random. I put my application on Monster or Resume, and she just called me. Hey, I didn't even know what the job was. She's like, hey, you want to do it? I'm like, okay. And that was that. And let's see here. Reminds me, I used to do night shift. I'll take that anytime. Then day shift, you don't have to deal with customers. A Google rip. I mean, I don't mind customers. Well, actually, I take that back because this is COVID times or pre-COVID times or post-COVID times. So there's not a lot of workers. Because I remember going to Walmart right when I came home, right? And I'd be like, excuse me, where are the whatever? And this guy, he'd be like, I don't know. And he'd walk away. At my CVS, this guy, I come in there, where is now mind you, what I was getting, because my mom was sick at this point. So I was just going to Walmart and CVS to get things for my mom. And this stupid motherfucker, he's just like, why are you talking to me? Does it look like I have? So I don't want to, now in that case, I mean, he's just stupid. But in this case, actually, I guess let me take all that back. I wouldn't do that to somebody but I imagine because there's not a lot of people working, I'll be overwhelmed with a bunch of people trying to, lazy people. But I did meet someone who's like, hey, come this way. And we walked all the way over there and he brought me to the aisle, which I was really happy for. Customer service. What do you teach? English? I teach reading. I will be teaching kids how to read, which is crazy because technically I don't know how to read. You say, what? You don't know how to read? I mean, like, if there's a big word that I've never seen, my thing was to do context because I think that's how they teach. If you don't know a word, look at the context. I just gloss over that word because it's not necessary. It'd be like, the cat jumped over the moon. I don't care what that word is. Some people pull out the dictionary and they're pulling out how to pronounce it. I wouldn't do all that. I want to finish the book. And that word, and if it comes up, but that's not reading, or it's a kind of reading. We're teaching the kids how to dissect the words on the page. That way, any new word, they'll be able to spell it out or sound it out, and they'll be able to get a sense of where it's coming from, like some SAT type knowledge. So I need to catch up on how to do that. Because, like, for example, A makes and A, and E is sometimes silent. Like all those grammatical rules, I don't remember because we don't learn it that way. So when I was in Japan teaching, they'd be like, why is I before E except after C? I don't know. That's just what it is. Learn that shit. Memorize it. Or when I was teaching, so I need to like learn this, and that's what all this training is for. But after I do this job, I'll be a better reader. It's a plus, plus, plus. Assuming you're on Chrome, go to the three boroughs and man, I ain't on no Chrome. Actually, I am on Chrome. What am I on? No, I'm inside of a Well, if you mean Chromebook, I'm not a Chromebook. If you mean Chrome the browser, is it Chrome the browser? Explorer, Safari? I think Explorer's gone. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Nah, give that man a badge. But yeah, man. Yo, we're at 2 hours and browser. Now I'm inside of what do you call it? Streamlabs, the application. So it is like this. It's like that, and that's the way it is. But yeah. Yeah. 11 o'clock. Yo, one thing that hurts me. What's web, NFTs, internet culture. Yo, do I have it here? So I was doing my research on NFTs. Still don't understand them at all. And yeah, I think NFTs work well when you're at a certain level. Like if Jay-Z, I think Jay-Z has an NFT, and like at a point, I mean, I can make an NFT. Anyone can, but it feels like it's one of those the audience kind of thing, chicken and egg. If you have an audience, then you could do this, or if you could do this and get the audience, but it's usually the other way around, or something like that. But yeah, I'm slowly working. I say slow. I bought that book 4 or 5. I bought it in April, so I just slowly sitting there collecting dust. I don't know. Since I've been home, I'm just not reading like I used to when I was in Japan. It's more of a quiet thing, and I'm just different mental space. I mean, the first 3 months sucked, man. And yeah. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, who who remembers when I used to live stream from my iPad like 15 years ago? What's your take on crypto? I don't know much about it. I know that some people make a lot of money from it. I know a lot of legal shit could be used to launder money. Um, yeah, I was streaming, man. Streaming before again. So my thing, what happened? How did that happen? I had an iPad that had internet built in. No, I had a little Wi-Fi thing. And I was just walking around Shibuya streaming because I could, and I did. That's my biggest downfall. I start things early and then I kind of let it slip away. 'Cause it's too early. It's before it made any sense. You know, kind of like beat make. Like my early stuff on my YouTube channel was me making beats. Now there's like a whole market of people making beats and doing tutorials and all that stuff. Or my first video, or one of my first videos, my girlfriends would be in it, and they'd be sit right next to me, and we'd be like, so answering questions. That became a thing a couple years later in Japan and the world around. Huge channels of people with their girlfriends. I just didn't see it. I mean, how could you see what you can't see? You know? But good times. Good times. Yeah. So I decided I'm gonna wear temple gear now that I'm back in the States, because that's gonna be my new brand. So I was doing Zumba, right? And this lady looks back. She's like, "My son goes to temple." Okay, bro. I remember you in the hotel with some girl in a music video. Yeah. I made 2 of those, 3 of those. Well, this was the era of when I started doing photography, and I would rent hotels to have my shoots, and I would be like, "Hey, you want to do a quick video?" Like, "What are you talking about? You just sit there and I'm gonna rap." But yeah, that was an error, an error, an error, an era. Yo, man, my first exhibition was so awesome. People come in and they're like, "Wow, because I would tell people, I shoot nude photography, and they'd just be like, "Yeah." But when I had it on the wall, and I mean, there was other people in there, and they came and they're like, "Wow, you are a photographer." Like it's the context of shit, the context. Like I don't know. I'm not really close to my family, but you probably gather that, right? But for the most part, it's always like, "What are you doing with your life?" You gather that too. But after I broke the Guinness record, right? My brother called me up. He's like, man, I'm so proud of you. You inspire me." I'll take that, but so it's kind of like that. Gotta do stuff. But yeah, for my dad, he didn't say that until like, if you were white, they would have doubted you. What if you were white? They wouldn't have. I don't think it's that. It's just my pivots are crazy. Like, I'm gonna make music, and then boop, I'm gonna go get my MBA. Boop, I'm gonna break the Guinness record. Although everything I don't know. In general, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. But it kind of blindsides people. I don't know why they should be used to it, but they just aren't yet. I heard in Japan there's a law that you can use there's a law where you can sue for defamation even if you're accused. I don't know much about the law. And they got a couple things that are on the books that are old and stuff. But luckily, I never had to deal with the law, because it costs money and it's different. Like here, you can Johnny Cochran up something and get a lot of money, and I got money to fight something with Jason. There, it's different. And then even if you win, you still have that stigma around you. You might win the battle but lose the war. But yeah. If you were offered a position to start the human civilization culture on Mars, what's the first song you would play in space? I would not be going to Mars or the moon or getting any rocket anytime soon, because I don't even. Although I lived in Japan, right, and I went back and forth many times, I don't like being in an airplane. And although I climbed Mount Fuji twice, I didn't like being way up there and being away from my home. So if I was like in space, that shit's just crazy, man. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Now, and probably all this is gonna happen when I'm like 87, so I'll be too old. But maybe if they could put my consciousness into space, I guess I could do that. And probably I'll be making up a new song about space. I have nothing about space at the moment. Although new album's called Moon Rock, and it might have some themes about space and all that stuff. So I might use one of those. Yeah, bro. What's the story that happened? Even if you can't say it all, why are you a fan on your case? Um, you know that children's story about the ugly duckling. I'm the ugly duckling, or the black sheep, or I I I I'm just wired that way. It's kind of like there was a time when if you were right-handed, left-handed, they would like make you use the other hand because that's what they wanted. They wanted you to be like everyone. Kind of like in the way Japan, the nail that stands up gets hammered down. So I always had this kind of vision, this way of thinking. I don't know why. I just did. And it was always kind of met with resistance. No, I wasn't beat because I thought this way. But, it's like if someone told me, I mean, if you watch enough videos, you know how I think, right? Like for me, I don't need to necessarily see it or feel it or know it to believe it. I believe it. Like the fact that I went to Japan and I didn't know anybody. If you watch those early videos, it wasn't like I was scared or worried or nervous. Like I just went because that's kind of how I roll, And I don't know, it just annoys people. And like when I'm sitting here by myself and I'm reading a book, and then my dad might come down and like, "Why is it so quiet in here? Turn on the TV." Well, it's quiet because I'm reading a book. Like my unique sets of skills are not understood. I'm like the X-Men, but not the pretty X-Men. I'm like one of they got to be under the sewer. No, I don't want to be under the sewer kind of X-Men. I'm an X-Men without Professor Xavier. Someone to like show me how to use my powers. So I just go around accidentally cutting people. Oh, that's Wolverine. But something like that. Man, unless you're bro and all the right people are rich, then they can these shit. I mean, I read a lot of books about other creatives, and the stories it's pretty similar. Like there's a story about Newton, right? Isaac Newton, and he worked. Now I might get this confused, but it's one of those. So Isaac Newton was working for his uncle, and he's always smart with the math and shit. So his uncle would use him to like tally up things because he could be like, "What's 1 + 1?" He'd be like 2. He's like, "You're so quick." And sometimes he would look up to the sky and just look at the stars. I really think it's Isaac Newton, but it could be someone else. But this guy would look up to the stars and just kind of imagine, and his uncle would bop him on the head like, "Get to work." So this kind of thing. So that's way back when. Or what's you get the idea. Um, uh, it could be also because in my family, I'm the first to be born in America. So my brother, sister, mother, uncle, father, da 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 da, all came from Jamaica. I was here, so I see things differently. I feel a little different. I always read books from a very early age, so maybe I had more things to more seeds planted in there. Cause, but it beats me. I don't know. Every family has a member like that, so it's normal. I mean, I don't feel abnormal because again, I read a lot of these books, and it's a common thing for people. I just haven't found my clan. Like the one day I run into some random person and it's like, you also da 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 da, because that's like the Rick Rubin, Russell Simmons thing. That's the Dame Dash and Jay Z and the third guy who no one talks about. That's Eminem and the guy who died. Like I haven't met that person in my life that just magnifies what I'm doing. But I do meet a lot of people who try to subtract from that, or they just see it differently. But yeah, I've been this way all my life, and I don't intend to change it up anytime soon. Uh, I think you mean, yeah, those guys underground. Maybe Spike, because within the cartoon, Spike, he just had the things coming out, and then he went down, but eventually he learned to control it. He's the son of, was he the son of Storm? I think so. What's your bro job field of work? Military. Military. But yeah. 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 That's why another reason I like teaching, because teachers have, you know, with a child has contact with their family, and then maybe their church or community, and then their school. And you know, yeah. See, you guys know your shit. But well, here's a random story, but related. So I was watching, what was it? I want to say the X-Men, the animated X-Men or the animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. For whatever reason, I was on this kick because I want, you watch them, but I didn't watch them in order. So I bought the whole series, or maybe I was downloading them, and where I couldn't get them in order, I'd buy them. And I was on the train watching it, just watching, like, let's say the X-Men. And then I look over and I see this woman, and I'm looking at the X-Men. I'm looking at the woman. I'm looking at the X-Men. Looking at the woman. I'm like, okay, hey. And I started talking to her. And then for the next 3 years, we were dating, and da-da-da-da. So all that could have changed if I would have focused on the X-Men. That's a true story, man. True story. But yeah. Yeah. But yeah, as a teacher, we I mean, the way I taught, I would make things like, if I was teaching a student, now this is Japanese and English and whatever. So maybe they couldn't like communicate in English. They couldn't answer the questions, but they could draw their ass off. And I'd be like, all right. And then I would come, if it's possible, I would try to tailor a lesson that would use their ability. No, you got 40, 30 kids in a class. It's not always that easy. Or my lessons, they would be random. One day I had the kids listen to my song and then write the lyrics, or Like, my name is Matt and I can rap, and sometimes I have a baseball bat. And then they would have to write the words. And I would just, focus on the rhyme or my name, which a lot of kids, they hate music or they hate English class, but this was different and fun. It stimulated some of them. Yeah, so it was really great. And then when I taught like at like I don't know the English cram schools, right? I would like I taught a kid. He was super high level. He's just super smart. But I think he had like I don't know what he had, but he had something where his mom would still hold his hand. But do you like to stick to the curriculum or do your own thing? It depends on. So in the case of this student, right? We'd be learning whatever, and he's super smart. He had a memory, like he could memorize. He knew more about American trains, American. Like I think his dad worked for Silicon Valley, but he just knew all of that shit. So when we would have our classes, he would be finished in like 5 minutes. Like we watch a video, and then I ask him questions. Other kids would take 40 minutes. He would be done in 5 minutes. So since he wanted to be so smart at it, I would ask him hypotheticals, theoreticals, or I'd have him draw. Okay, draw that on the board, and he start drawing, and it get all detailed, and he'll spend the whole time drawing it. He's happy, he's learning, he's engaging. I'm happy because I don't gotta do anything else. He's going to sit there and draw. But I just love tailoring things to my students because everyone's different and some people don't fit in a little box. Like this fly, he refuses to fit in a box. I yeah, I could say he. Well, it wasn't so. Let's see here. In the case of cram schools, well, in this, so cram schools are extra to school, and he was born in America or he lived in America. I think he was born in America, and then he moved back to Japan. So so we're teaching him English. So technically, he's an American. So it wasn't like he had to. So he knew shit already. But on top of that, he was just really clever and smart. So I had to think of ways to stump him on things because, oh, you can do that in 5 minutes? We'll try 3 minutes. But yeah. And I taught another girl who, again, she lived in the States for a little bit. Like smart kids are, I mean, all kids are great, but when they're at a higher level and you could like debate. Nah, they were from both parent home. Although I didn't meet the dads, but I always met the mom and stuff. But yeah, it was cool. It was good. I remember when I was in elementary and I would ask questions, the teacher would be like, "Yeah, there's no answer." What do you mean there's no answer? There got to be an answer, but they couldn't answer my questions. They're just so out there. But when my kids ask me those out there questions, we just talk about it. Like well, if we lived on the moon, where would you get your whatever they're into? So let's say they love Coca-Cola. Like, well, if you live on the moon, you can't drink any Coca-Cola. It's gonna go all blub 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 blub. It's like, yeah, that is true. What if we put a straw? Well, your straw will blub 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 blub. And we'll just have like, and then I miss those kids. Well, I only had 2 kids like that. The rest, I had a kid who was sleeping in class. He'd be sitting there like this, and and I'm like, dude. Well, I'm with the teacher. I'm like, yo, he's sleeping. Scripts. 85%. Yeah, 80-20. Yeah, I can see that. But like in all the good movies, if you follow what everyone's doing, you live a pretty well happy life. There's this animation I seen recently. It was like really great. I mean, it came out like 8 years ago. I'm just seeing it now. But it just showed like this concept of, follow the rules, things are cool, don't follow the rules, and then you die, get kicked out. I mean, it's in most movies. Did you ever get the stereotype that the Japanese parents would get pissed at their kid and make less than an A? Yeah. I mean, their culture, it'd be like the football dad or basketball dad or whatever parent they want their kids to do some whatever. I mean, parents are parents. I hope when I have kids that I'm not that type of parent. I hope that I'm not, do whatever you want. You want to sit, well, I would try to nurture, but kids are going to do what kids are going to do. But in Japan, grades are important. Get a good grades, go to school, get a good job. So, I mean, I was teaching at a cram school. So they have their school, and now it's like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and they're at another school with me learning extra shit so they can go back to school. So there was a lot of pressure. Like, kids in America definitely, well, not all kids, but like when you would ask them, what did you, like it would be summer vacation. Like, what did you do? Like, oh, I did my summer homework. I visited my grandma. Like, that's all you did? But literally, they get a stack of papers. Teaching is super noble, wholesome. I mean, I wish I had like on some because I would love to teach inner city, like I'm in my city, teach kids who are not coming from great backgrounds or families, and they have those choices being thrown at them that, they can go this way, they can go that way. But I don't think I can do that. I don't want to do that at this point in my life. Maybe I'll come back, but big respects to teachers who do that. And, teachers don't even get paid that much money. So to do it because you love it, yeah. 2 questions. Do you think actual words in your mind when making decisions and just when thinking in general? And can you mentally visualize actual objects that you could see? Wow, that is an interesting question. Can't do either and don't know the other people. Do you think actual words in your mind when making decisions? Actual words. Do you think actual? I mean, I talk to myself. So if I wasn't making a video, I would be talking. So I talk to myself, have a conversation. Can you mentally visualize actual objects? Yeah. Like when I rap, like I see a story. Like I saw her at this one place. She was walking. I see in her face, she had this pink lace. It was the color of paste. Next to her was like in my mind, I could see that actually there. I assumed everyone else could too. But yeah, my imagination is off the charts in that regard. Because a lot of people can't do either and don't know that. I don't know. I assume that everybody could, so I guess I'm on the other extreme. Like, but everyone has different talent. Like my friend, if we're walking, he could tell you all the people who are beside him and what they're wearing and like that kind of thing. I don't see people if I'm walking somewhere. Like when I'm at my shows in Japan, they'd be like, "Yeah, I was there the whole time. You didn't? No, I wasn't looking for you, so I didn't see you. You didn't jump out. You didn't do anything interesting." Do you believe in world theory? I'm not familiar with world theory. World theory. World theory. If I had Siri, I don't use Siri, but hey Siri, what's world theory? Hey, that rhymed. Hey Siri, I have a query. Can you tell me about world theory? Hey Siri, did you hear me? Okay, let me say it more clear. That'd be so stupid.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Wow, I guess Siri's. I
I'm
get.
not sure I understand.
Okay, that's. Thank you. Wow. Wow, Siri's on. Yeah, just world theory. Nah, when I was teaching in Japan, because I have an Apple Watch, so when I asked the kids, "What time is it?" my Apple Watch Siri would say, "It's 4:30" or whatever. So I turned them all off because it was annoying. But last week I made this video where I wanted to have like that and for like some robot voice. So I turned everything on. I was trying to do text to talk, so I turned everything on, but I got to turn it back off. Um, the seat of the soul was an interesting one. Um, a man's search for meaning is an interesting one. Um, uh, Enlightenment, consciousness. I think those two. I mean, there's different takes on all that, but those two were for me. I was enlightened when I read. So, Man's Search for Meaning is about this guy who was he got captured during like the World War II, I believe, and he was in German concentration camps, and they're gonna kill him. He's going to be killed, but he was like a psychiatrist or something, and or a psychologist, and he started talking to them, and then he escapes, or eventually he lived to tell the tale and wrote this book. But he was saying that, and this really resonated with me. So even though they had his body, even though his family was away from him, and he was in very this, and he couldn't eat, and everything was just fucked up, his mind, they couldn't break his mind. Now he held on to that, and he was able to survive, and it was really powerful. Like, wow, if you could somehow unlock that, because right now I get annoyed by so much shit. The first thing I told my therapist, I said, "Hey, teach me how to be calm and zen like." She thought I was kidding, but I was pretty serious. Uh, why does everyone in Japan use Apple products instead of their own tech? Also, do they still have flip phones? We'll start with flip phones. Yes, they do have flip phones. I was actually going to get one because at one point my iPhone internet data plan bill I was paying like $200 a month. 200 a month. And I had like 50 gigabytes of data, and I would use all my data the first day, and then for the next week the next month I had no data, and I'm paying $200. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna. So I told him I want to get rid of the data. Like, you can't get rid of the data because you have a smartphone. Like, okay, I'm gonna get a freaking flip phone, and it had to be flip. But then they came up with the unlimited data plan after that, so I didn't get the flip. As far as why they don't use their own stuff, they do, but their marketing is pretty good. When I got there, Sony was doing Sony shit. So I had my iPod, and they had their Sony Vio thing, and that was whatever. But you know, Apple is a brand that people like. Not everyone. I see a lot of people with the non-Apple smartphone looking things. Sony's still a Japanese company, so I don't know the statistics. I don't believe Apple has like a 90% share of all phones or whatever, because they're overpriced. Uh, do you own your own mastering? What do you go to? Hey Zoe. Um, as far as masters, technically, yeah. Everything you make, you own it by default. So that part, you own it. And then if you sell it, then it's like you're selling parts of it. If you're on a label, they kind of steal it from you unless you negotiate out of that. Um, yeah. And go to programs. It depends on the task. If I'm making a beat, I'm probably going to use my iPad because it's just right here. And it's been on this time. It's all hot and stuff. If I am recording vocals, I don't care to do it on the iPad. I could do it on an iPhone. If I'm outside, yeah. If I'm inside, I'll probably use the computer and I'll probably use Ableton or Logic. I don't like Logic so much because it's weird. I mean, I just never learned it. I I took a course on Ableton, so I'm much better at that. And I don't like the color scheme of Logic. I'm sure you could change it, but um, yeah. And then app wise, I got like a billion apps, so I just whatever appeals to me at that time. Yeah. For waves, I like to use waves for mastering. Um, on the iPad, I use Fab Filter because they're cheaper than on the computer. But yeah, it really depends. Favorite nightclub? It doesn't exist anymore, but it was called Vanilla. And Vanilla and I were best friends. I was there. So remember, I was saying I went to Japan to get a job. But when I got to Japan, I just went to Vanilla every day. I went on Mondays, on Tuesdays. There's nobody there on those days. They're open. I'd just be listening to music. There was this guy, Japanese guy, who'd always be dancing to the song Michael Jackson. Dun 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 dun, dun. And he'd be dressed out in all white with a Neo type hat, and he's just like every time he'd be dancing to that song, and that was a Wednesday thing. And then Thursday, and then the weekend, I was just out there. Yeah. And then the second club was Camelot because the DJs from Vanilla went to Camelot and they played the same playlist from like 8 years ago. It was very nostalgic for me. Yeah. And then the Agaha, which I think all these clubs are closed. Maybe Camelot's still there, but Agaha was like the biggest club. They had a pool that nobody could swim in, but there was a pool, and they had an outdoor part where the pool was that you couldn't swim in, but it's nice to see the pool. And it was on the ocean, not the bay. So as you're standing there and the sun's rising, and there's the pool, and they used to play reggae music outside on this part. So in the morning when you're kind of tired, but you're just out there and the sun is coming up, and there's a pool that you can't swim in. It was just it was beautiful, beautiful. But it was a big club. They had like different rooms and shit. I ran into so it's a big club, right? Big club. And I ran into this girl that I met like 7 years later. When I met her, she didn't speak any English, but she loved me. She said, "I love you." I said, "I love you too." But then we broke up under weird circumstances. But then I run into her. She's like, "Hey, Matt, how you doing?" And you speak English now? It's like, "Yeah, I went to Canada for 1 year." Like, who? I mean, I guess that's all she needed. But yeah, it was. So yeah, those clubs. Yeah, and then Bay Hall, where I performed at once, and Chingy came out there once. That was interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, wow, wow, wow. If you're still here, Zoe, what kind of music do you make? Yeah. Uh, and Basquiat, I can't say it, but that's after the painter, right? Basquiat. I'm not saying it right. I think it's he got a movie. I think no, that's another guy. I'm getting confused, but you would know because you got it in the name, or maybe that's just your name. I don't know. Any video games you like? I'm old school and I don't play games, but Mario. I don't think I ever beat any Mario games, but I like Mario, the old ones, not the 3D ones, because I can't focus on those. But Mortal Kombat, not the new ones when they're like kind of just flat looking. Uh, Candy Crush, not really a game, but I got addicted to that and I was playing it like seriously until fate erased the game from my phone. Because 20% of the 80% is free because people just play it, but 20% of those people actually pay for it. I was 20%. I'd be paying $1 here and $2 there. But yeah, that's yeah. Because games kind of throw me off. If I start playing a game, I won't be doing anything else. I'll just be playing the game, and then you beat the game, and it's just kind of like I'm 41, so maybe some of y'all have never seen like a coin machine at the corner store. But I used to go to the corner store and I would put my little quarter in and I would play and I would beat those games. I would, because I just putting them in. And I remember one time I beat the game and I turn around, but there's nobody there. And I ran home to my mom, like, Mom, I beat the game. And she's like, Don't tell your dad. Yeah. But yeah, in general, actually, one time my girlfriend bought me a DS. She's like, Do you want a DS? I was like, Sure. So I got a DS and I had Shinobi. I think it was Shinobi esque. I don't know if it was Shinobi. And I got to work early. Like I was like 45 minutes early. So I was walking and playing the DS and then I was at the end level. So I'm just like and when I beat the game, right? Because it was that kind of thing, right? When I looked up, about an hour and 20 minutes passed. And I was like a block away from the school. So I run down there and she's like, You're late. And I'm like, Did you call my company? She's like, No, but and she's like, What happened? Like, I was playing the games and I had lost track of time. So yeah, games. There was a book, the gamification of something, how games do that. I was trying to read it, but I never read it. I gave it to someone who never gave it back. The gamification of life? I'm not sure. But yeah. All right. I made a mistake when I started this live. I didn't eat after I came back from the gym because I don't know. I just didn't. And now I'm hungry. And it's like freaking 11:43. See, there you go. I was just talking about. I guess it makes sense. I make music. People would watch people. Because one thing I want to do is I want to collaborate with people. Because you make music, I make music. We kind of talk the same language. But I'm slow on that too. Recently, I've been collaborating with the people in my group, and it's great because they they have a different style, and they just be like one track. There was no beat to it. It's just like meow, caution, meow, caution. Like, what? How am I gonna rap on that? But then it is a loop, so and I just kind of space it out, and then we're gonna get this, and it worked out. But yeah, yeah. The painter. Yeah, I do remember my ex girlfriend mentioning him. She said I would probably like his story, but I never. I'm pretty sure he got an audiobook. Everyone got one. I don't got one yet, but one day I'll have one, and maybe I'll narrate myself. And this was brought to you by Audible. This was written by Matthew, and the speaker is Matthew. This is a story about Matthew's life. I don't think I'm there yet. I mean, who decides when a person is there? But I'm going to just wait a little bit longer. Memoirs. I guess I could make one about life in Japan, but I am going back eventually. It's not like I was banned from Japan. Although this company, if they don't give me my freaking form, like this form takes like 3 seconds to fill out. I'm gonna have to. So here's the thing that's kind of like annoying, right? So I get these emails from this company. It'd be like, we're looking for teachers. Can anyone do it? We're going to pay you this much. Usually this kind of job is like really easy because it's not your school. You just show up, you kind of have a ball, whatever. And they used to pay you double, like double time-ish. But I'm all the way out here. I would do it if I was there, but I can't. I did one right before I left when I came back to Japan to clean out all my stuff. They're like, can you do it? And I go out there, and it was just cool. Good times. Good times. You know, one thing I didn't know was still a thing? Jerry Springer and that genre of TV. Recently, my dad's been watching it, and then I just get sucked into it. Like, is the baby his? And it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm just, it's just, I know they're real people, and I know that I could, in some alternate world or something, I want to believe that I could never have, but you never know. Different circumstances. But it's just, like, they're real people, and I just, like, I wonder how like the people of those shows, how do they feel? Do they go home and they're just like proud of themselves? Like, yeah, I made 13 million, 10 million this year, but this is what I put out into the world. Or maybe they just divorced themselves from it. I don't know. But maybe I could, like, I want to go on a TV show, like a game show or something, just so I could be extra me. Like, if I'm on Price is Light, and they're like, and next up, we got Matthew. And I just take my time walking up there. Like, can you walk any slower? Like, I ain't got nowhere to go, man. And then it's like, how much you going to bet? And he's like, $10. And I'm just, or if I, like, I have a plan, man. Just be super chill. I don't know if they'll let you, though. I think they want people to be over excited, and they might just recast it or reshoot it. I don't know. But yeah. So, as I've been saying, this was the last live stream, last Tuesday talk. We might have Wednesdays or Thursdays, but I don't know what's going to happen from next month. But for some of you guys, and girls. Y'all been rocking with me all summer, and I can't tell you how much that meant to me because I made an album called Music is My Therapy, but this is also part of that, just talking out all this shit and making sense of stuff. So I do appreciate that. And these live streams, don't know why I didn't start them earlier, but you know, they're always interesting. So I appreciate y'all. And thank you for all the wish. I'm not really worried about working because I can work and I'll work. It'll be interesting because meet different people. It'll be a different routine. The teaching, I think, is going to be a little hard at first because I need to kind of relearn how to read in the way that they're teaching us to read so I could teach the kids how to do that. So I might be a little slow, but we'll see. But yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank you for joining the last stream. Thank you for all the questions. And thank you. And be safe. Yeah. And that's it. All right. I'm out.